Usually Mr. Mendoza finds himself in the middle of the pack, but this year it might be different. If there's one thing that's been proven to succeed time and time again, it's going all in on that rookie running back. We saw it with Zeke, we saw it with Saquon, we saw it with Kareem, and I think we're going to see it with Najee Harris this year as a team captain on KO's team. Funny thing is, the one running back we didn't see it with was his RB2, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Our expectations were just too high last year. Not an RB1 this year. He's actually the RB2 on this team, where I think he's going to do a great service to his team. Round out the squad with Allen Robinson, DJ Moore, the two receivers seeing the biggest quarterback upgrade this year. I think this team is destined for success. This team looks like a disrespected anonymous meeting. Start with Mike Evans. This man has literally never not put up 1,000 yards. Drops to the back of the fifth. Calvin Ridley has proven when Julio's gone, he steps up to becoming a top 10 receiver in fantasy. Drops to the back of the second. T. Higgins, even when Burrow went down, was a solid fantasy player. Bob Tunyon, out-of-body experience last year. No one wanted him. And David Montgomery was maybe the best running back over the last 6 weeks last year. Drops to the back of the third. What more can these men do? And still, no one wanted to touch them except for Kyle Lieber. He's ride or dying with this team, and I think they're going to ride to success. The whole talk of the offseason was how would this rookie respond after being promoted to the ICPA? Would he become a nervous wreck like owners have in the past, or would he step up to the plate and start playing with the big boys? Well, this guy decided he was going to go old school, brick and mortar. He's not going online. He's not going to Fantasy Pros, ESPN. No, he's walking into Barnes & Noble and getting himself a fantasy magazine. And he's reading that from front to back, highlighting annotations and everything 3, 4, 5 times a night. And we could see how it paid off in the draft. Amari Cooper and Justin Jefferson might be the best duo in this league right now at the receiving position. James Robinson is looking to deliver on the success that he had last year. But we know what this team comes down to. Antonio Gibson. Half PPR league. Really didn't have any catches last year. Was a receiver in college, though. Coach comes out this offseason and says, this is the year of Antonio Gibson. We're going to receive him in the passing game. But J.D. McKissic, still alive and breathing. Really, this comes down to what side do you take? Antonio Gibson and what the coach is saying, or J.D. McKissic? And there's one thing I promised my family, it's I would never side with J.D. McKissic. Not much to say here. It's another September where ESPN has me as one of the lowest rated teams. Power rankings across the nation have me in the bottom half. Exactly where I like to be. Every single year, except for that one year that we won't talk about, I deliver. DK Metcalf, finishing as a top 3 receiver this year. Damian Harris, I'm telling you, take the 80-1 odds, leading rusher in the NFL. Belichick every 5 years finds a guy that he loves and he rides him into the dirt. That's going to be Damian this year. Robert Woods, he was a stud before. Now he's got Stafford. What don't you like about this team? And didn't even add this in. The best bench in the league. It's not even close. This franchise has proven that they are the Steelers of the ICPA, turning into a wide receiver factory, churning studs year in and year out. And this year looks to be no difference, as this owner decided to draft the runaway favorite for receiver of the year last year in Davante Adams to lead the troops. Davante's going to take 2 very promising receivers under his wing. Jerry Jeudy and CeeDee Lamb came out of college together. A lot of competitive fire there. Practices should be a lot of fun to see who is the number 2 dog on this team. And while I'm lower on CeeDee than most, that's evened out by how high I am on Jerry Jeudy. Add in Nick Chubb, add in Russell, 2 guys that are maybe the 2 most efficient at their individual positions. I like what this team has in store for them this year. Speaking of benches, good God, is this one brutal. I mean, this team is one injury away from absolute catastrophe. But if you're going to base your power rankings off of hypothetical injuries, you probably shouldn't be making power rankings. Instead, I make mine off of hypothetical stats and far-fetched theories that I come up with while I'm bored at work. And my theory is, as long as Lamar Jackson starts shitting pregame instead of during the game, this team should be good. Although I am kind of sketched out by Jonathan Taylor. But we'll see. Well, by Tony's boys, I think this team means Tony Dungy's, because this reminds me of all those Colts team that had a lot of flashes, a lot of promise, but really couldn't get it done until there's Rex Grossman on the other side. I think that's what we're going to see here, led by Mr. Hopes and Dreams himself. Jamar Chase had a bunch of potential and then laid probably the biggest goose egg we've ever seen in the preseason. Myles Gaskin, one of the hit wonders from last year, but probably just a one-hit wonder. And Chris Godwin, sure, great player, but could easily be the third most targeted receiver in that offense. Also, Cardinals, I think, are going to be one of the most disappointing teams in the league this year. Yeah, a lot of promise, going to be some flashes, but when it matters, you're not going to see the execution. Honestly, I'm just really bored looking at this team. I mean, yeah, Deontay Johnson, A.J. Brown, Ronald Jones, can't get the ball. I mean, I'm just bored. Go T.J. Hawk, though. We'll see teams punt the tight end position. We'll see them punt the kicker and defense position. We'll even see them punt the quarterback position. But we have never seen a team punt the wide receiver position like we witnessed this team do on Sunday night, led by Chase Claypool, a man who only topped 60 yards once in the entire back half of last year. Next up, we have Brandon Cooks, whose quarterback is Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod Taylor, the 3 years starting, only topped 23 completions 5 times in his 3 years as a starting quarterback. I mean, there's just not enough volume for either of these players. And we have the bench. Corey Davis is right now on the bench. Corey Davis will be the best receiver on this team. And while I love Corey Davis this year, I do not love him as a team's wide receiver one. A lot to be concerned about here. Raheem Mostert, great player, will be injured by 2:18 p.m. on Sunday. I mean, a lot to be concerned about and not a lot to like. You know, it's tough to say what I think about this team when this team hasn't even been completed yet. I mean, we still only have 7 of the 9 starting lineup spots filled to this day. However, what I can see right now, there's a pretty solid trio of receivers. And while Lockett might be up and down, Keenan Allen's going to be consistent. Might be the most consistent receiver in the league when it comes to fantasy. And Cooper Kupp with Stafford's probably going to have a lot of consistency and a lot of high weeks. Then he's riding the Packers with Rodgers and Jones to lead off the squad. And I just said Raheem Mostert is going to be injured by 2:18 Pacific time on Sunday, meaning Trey Sermon's going to have a lot more value starting in week 2. I actually do like what's going to be going on here. I just don't think the team is going to stay together. You never know what Kevin's going to be up to, and I had to add in that wild card factor, which drops him down to number 10, and the fact that he only has 7 to 9 players.
Oh my God.